Hello, everybody, and welcome to On the First Tee with JT. Hi, I'm Janice Thornton with JT Fitness and Golf, and I am your online personal trainer. And I love working with golfers, helping you elevate your golf game through strength, balance, flexibility, and mobility. And one of the things I love to do as well is interview my friends that I network with so that way I can help share what their businesses are because I never know who might need to see my amazing friends. And I have another amazing friend today. Her name is Dr. Carla Freeman, and she is with Abundant Health Arizona. And she is an amazing chiropractor who has a lot of great information for us today. So, welcome, Carla. How are you doing today?
I'm good, Janice. Thank you so much for having me. This is
Oh,
really great.
well, of course. So you are a chiropractor, and what makes you different from other chiropractors?
Yeah, thanks for asking. Because, usually as soon as somebody hears chiropractor, they like, oh, I need you to crack my neck, or,
Mhm.
there's just a certain thing that people think of. And I know a lot of people maybe even dismiss. They think, well, like, I don't need a chiropractor. My back doesn't hurt, or, something like that. So the type of chiropractic practice that I have, it's not based on just the physical adjustment. We're still encouraging your body to be in alignment and to help with your posture and your ergonomics. That's still really important. But we're actually looking at how stress is affecting your body. So, a lot of times people think about like, well, I'm stressed, and we just think we have to put up with that. Now, to some degree, I'm not going to make your stress go away, right? I don't have a magic wand, not going to get rid of your stress, but how we adapt to stress and how much resource and energy it takes to deal with the stresses of life really determines our experience and how we're going to feel. So when you come into my practice, we're not only going to do, traditional chiropractic things like postural assessment and, like mobility and range of motion testing. We're also going to kind of talk about your life. Like, what are you dealing with? Are you running a business? Are you got kids at home? Are you just stressed about your golf game? Right. A lot of times that's the thing, that people are like putting a lot of time and money into this hobby and they feel like they can't progress. That's a stressor. So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at, what's going on with your nutrition. How are you sleeping? How are you eliminating? Like, all of these things go into your physical experience. And I think a lot of times, we just think, oh, I have a pain, I want it fixed. Or, we have that kind of mindset, right? Like, let's just fix it and move on. And that's fine. If you want that, it usually works really great. We usually can get rid of pain in 1 or 2 visits. But I really work with people who want to figure out how can they avoid that pain, or how can they, like, not have to miss out on things because they're in pain, or who just want to find out, like, well, what could I be doing? Maybe I'm using energy to adapt to something. I don't even realize it, but I could free up that energy and be able to do more and enjoy life more.
Well, you're getting more to the root cause of what's going on versus just trying to put the little band-aid on the person because we all know the
Exactly.
band-aids don't really work over a long period of time. We got to get to the root cause.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about someone who might not necessarily be in a lot of pain or suffering from an illness. How can you help those people?
Yeah, so I'm using body reflex testing to do all my assessments. So, there's a lot of things that we do every day, right? You can think of the thousands of things that you're doing. You're driving a car. That's a lot of decisions that you're making. You're using your sight, your sound, your senses, right? How many times have you swerved out of the way before you even realized someone was cutting you off, right? We're doing a lot of things. We're using a lot of systems. So with the body reflex testing that I do, we can find out how much energy is it taking your brain to run those systems. Because right? Like, because you want to be able to do all those things and still have energy left over to digest your food, to repair muscles, right? So if and all that energy is going to go to that primary system, to keep you safe, like it has to. That's how we survive in the world. But what we want to be able to do is like drive the car, do the things, and then not have that take such a toll on our body and our well-being. Like, we do a lot of our rest and repair work when we go to sleep at night, but throughout the day, we want to be able, if you eat lunch and then hop in the car to go to a meeting, you want your body to actually do the digestion work and do it well while you're driving that car. So that body reflex work can kind of tell us, are you heading towards an issue, or are there just places where you could be organized more efficiently so that you can preserve your health, really like preserve your resources and not end up, with an illness down the line or some type of issue down the line.
Absolutely. I love that because I know I want people to be able to age well and age backwards and then
Mhm.
to be able to play their, if they love golf, to play golf well into their 70s, 80s, and 90s. Obviously, you want people to be healthy for a long time as well, just to live life to the fullest.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh,
what's,
and
oh,
Janice, really quick, I just want to say the second thing is that's that performance piece, right? So you may not have a particular, like kind of I said at the beginning, you might have a particular issue like a shoulder or a knee or a hip or something that bothers you, but you just may feel like you can't progress, like no matter how much you practice. And so sometimes that's the way your body's organizing how your muscles fire. And it doesn't have to do necessarily with the physicalness of your muscle, right? What you're doing with people, like conditioning those muscles and training them, is really great. But it might actually have to do with how your brain is organizing the importance of that muscle firing. So if your brain thinks you're fighting a bear or you're a little bit stressed, like something else is happening in your life, it may not be paying attention to that you want to swing that golf club. It may be paying attention to what you have to do in 3 hours. If we can reorganize that and make it more make your brain work more efficiently, then when you're playing golf, like your body's going to give all the power to golf and organize those muscles in a way. And that's how people usually see like a jump in performance, is when they can get the muscles to fire, faster, right? That's kind of what it all comes down to, is will that muscle fire faster and do the thing you want it to do, when you want it to do it. And then that's when you have to kind of get into the subconscious mind. And that's what we can do with some of the work that I do and upregulate that for people.
oh, nice. Okay, so what's the one thing you wish people knew about their health, whether or not they end up in your office?
I just wish they knew you're not stuck with anything.
Oh, no.
I bet you come up with in your practice too, right? When you're working with people, they're like, well, that shoulder's hurt me for 40 years. It's not going to get any better. Do you ever hear that? Or, oh, that's just a
Oh,
pain that
yeah.
I've had that since college. Like, that's just how it is. You're not really stuck with anything. Your body can rehab anything. And actually, especially with your large joints, the shoulders, the knees, the hips, it's important to pay attention to that, because as we age, that's what your brain is paying attention to figure out where you are in space. And, the number one cause of illness for people is that they fall, right? A senior, someone who, I don't know, how do we say this in a nice way? Because I feel like we're
You
talking
can.
about us at this point, right? People of a certain age, as you age, that you're at risk for falling, right? That's the big thing. And it's not like, it's so insidious, and you don't realize that it's like these tiny little changes in how your body perceives where you are in space that actually has you miss that step or roll that ankle. And so if we can keep that tuned up and then handle it on the scar tissue, get the motion back into the joints, it's going to give your brain different signals, which is going to protect you from falling. So that's my key, is if you have an old issue, don't put up with it. Go see anybody, and say, how can I get mobility and motion into this joint so that I can have the longest and happiest life possible?
Yeah. And I'm going to add on to what you're saying. This is why I believe strength training is so important, because that risk to fall does increase as we get older. However, when you can make your body strong, when you do lift weights, because it increases your bone density, that if you do fall, you reduce your risk of actually breaking that hip or breaking a leg or whatever, when you do strength training. And strength training is the answer to our exercise issues. And I can't stress that enough. But Dr. Carla, I am so excited that you have been on here on the First Tee with JT. And in the comments, we will put how to get a hold of you, that you're here in Scottsdale, Arizona. And that way people will have all your contact information and they can get in touch with you very soon and come see you. So Dr. Carla, thank you so much.
Thank you, Janice.
Bye, everybody.